Everything is inspired by the teachings of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who is the founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Om Ganati Manandasyam Ganangana Sarakya Chaksurun Miritam Yena Tajmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Mano Vistam Stapitam Yena Bhutare Sayam Rupa Karamayam Didati Swa Vadanti Kam. I'd like to talk to you today about releasing and resting. Krishna is our name for God. He puts dreams in all of our hearts. We know we're going to get over that chronic sickness. We know that our business is going to succeed. We know that we're going to meet the right person. Krishna, God, He doesn't tell us how it's going to happen or necessarily when it's going to happen. So too often, if it's not happening in the way that we'd anticipated on our timetable, we tend to get frustrated. We want to hurry God along a little bit. Krishna, when are you going to turn this around? When is my health going to improve? How come this situation is not getting any better? We put Krishna or God in a box. We tell Him how to do it, and we try to tell Him when it's going to happen. We also tell Him who to use to make it happen. And if it's not working out exactly the way that we've scripted it, we get discouraged. But once you pray, once you believe, then you have to release it and rest. And leave it up to God as to how He does it, and when He does it, and who He does it with. If you insist on a time frame for when it's going to happen and a method of how it's going to happen, you're going to end up frustrated. Why? Because Krishna, God's ways are not our ways. He's working when we can't see it. Sometimes the reason it's taking longer than we thought it would take is because He's working on something better than you could have ever imagined. One of the things I've learned in my 74 years is to trust in God's timing. Trust in God's ways. What God has promised, the dream that He put in your heart, it will come to pass. But it's not going to happen in the way that you think. It may not be when you had planned. So don't try to control the outcome, control the time frame. If you do, you're just going to live worried, lose sleep at night. You need to learn the art of releasing control, releasing having to have it happen in your way. Don't worry, God's already got it all figured out. He knows the end from the beginning. Here's the key. He doesn't give us the details. If you knew in advance how everything was going to work out in your favor, then you wouldn't need any faith, would you? If He told you 3 months from now there's going to be a huge breakthrough, that door is going to open. Right now it looks like you're going backwards. There's a shortcut. There's going to be a sudden break that's going to catapult you forward. This person is going to show up and help you achieve what you wanted to achieve. Then what would happen? You just relax and say, okay, it's all going to work out. Well, why don't you do that now? Why don't you just relax and believe it's all going to work out right now without insisting that God, the supreme creator of millions and millions of universes, be accountable to you, to explain to you in advance what He's doing. He has it all planned out. He's doing things you can't see. There are good breaks coming, healing, favor, the right people. They're on the schedule, but you need to release control. Enjoy your life while you're waiting for things to change. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. What is it that upsets us? What keeps us up at night? Krishna is saying, whatever it is, just release it to me. I'm in control. I'm ordering your steps. I'm working behind the scenes. Even if it's meant for your harm, I know how to transform it to your advantage. Those who have belief, it is said, enter into rest. Once you believe, you no longer have to figure everything out. You may not see anything changing right now. You may be tempted to worry. Resist that temptation. Dig in your heels and stay at rest. When you're at rest, what are you doing? You're showing Krishna or God that you can trust Him. Maybe you're believing for your health to improve, but the medical report is not getting any better. You thought it would have happened by now. You could be worried, complaining, but instead you're thanking Krishna. You're declaring his promises. You're being your best every day. People don't even know that you have that illness, that you're taking that chemotherapy. When you're upset, when you're complaining, when you're going on Facebook, when you're worried about your finances, your health, that child is off course and you can't sleep, that's a sign that you've stopped believing. In order to reach the fulfillment of your destiny, you have to be at rest. You can't be in inner turmoil and get to where you need to go. Come to a place of peace. Trust God and not be worried. When you're in peace, you know that God or Krishna is in control. You know he's fighting your battles. You know that what he started, he's going to finish. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Well, true, I'm worried about my finances. I got laid off. I'm upset about the medical report. When is this pandemic going to be over? It's just getting worse. None of that is a surprise to Krishna. He hasn't brought you this far just to leave you. Release the worry. Release the frustration. Release having to know all the details. There will always, can I tell you, be situations you don't understand, problems that look too big, obstacles that seem permanent. Those are tests. Will you go through life worried, wondering if it's going to work out, discouraged because it's taking so long? Or will you enter into rest? Will you believe that Krishna is in control, that he will get you to where you're supposed to be? Sometimes we want something so badly, it gets us off kilter, out of balance. We're not going to be happy unless God does it our way. When that happens, you have to be able to put it on the altar. Don't let go of the dream. Don't let go of the ambition. Don't give up on the promise. Release control of how God is going to bring it to pass. He may not do it in a traditional way. Look at him there, standing in a threefold bending way, with a quizzical smile on his face, a peacock feather tucked into his hair. If there's one thing you can glean from the Lord on the altar, it is that he is not predictable. You can't second guess him. He's full of surprises. 2 out of 3 of the tourists that enter the door downstairs, the question erupts from their mouth: how did this Hare Krishna temple get to be here in an area that's 90% Mormon? And I point them to a picture of Krishna. God has a sense of humor. He's a prankster. Don't expect that you can predict what he's going to do or how he's going to do it. Anything that you have to do in order to be happy, the enemy can use that against you. But when you can say, Krishna, this is what I want, but even if it doesn't work out my way, I'm still going to be happy. I'm still going to give you praise. That takes away the power of the enemy. Hold tightly to your dreams, but hold loosely to how God is going to do it. Krishna knows how to bring promises to pass. You have to stay open as to the means and as to the timing. If you're set and determined on having it one way, that's a formula for frustration. Krishna does things out of the ordinary, unusual. He will not bring your dreams to pass in a traditional way. You might be upset about something right now, rebelling against something, gnashing your teeth against something that is actually the direct hand of God in your life. Did you ever wonder about this possible irony? It hasn't happened yet because Krishna is going to do something better than you think. The delay, the disappointment, the setback, it's not working against you, it's working for you. You need to release control of how it's going to happen. God does things out of the ordinary, unprecedented, unusual. You're not falling behind. You're about to receive a phone call, a good break, an open door, a promotion. Your health is about to suddenly turn around. God simply does not go down a straight path. He takes detours, delays, curves. He'll even take you backwards sometimes, but he will get you to where you need to be. There will be times when your back is to the goal. It feels like you're headed in the wrong direction. Krishna, I'm believing that I should go in this direction for promotion, for healing and freedom. But for a long time now, I've been going in the other direction. I'm in a pandemic. I'm seeing just the opposite. Don't get set on the method. The way you think it's going to happen may not be the way that Krishna is going to do it. And what you can't see is that path that's supposedly the wrong direction, there's another turn. It's going to end up catapulting you in the direction you need to go. The reason that it's taking longer is because it's bigger than you thought, more rewarding, more fulfilling. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Doors aren't opening yet. We just don't know what God or Krishna is up to. We can't see what he's doing behind the scenes. People are coming against you. There's a pandemic. It's not getting better. It's getting worse. The trouble has not turned around. Your family member, that child, is still off course. Don't be discouraged by what's not changing. Keep in faith. Keep a good attitude. Keep your devotion. There is a set time for God to favor you. A set time for him to heal you. A set time to turn the problem around. If there's a right time, it means that there's also a wrong time. That means that if it hasn't happened yet, it wasn't meant to be. So instead of fighting where you are, why not embrace where you are? Krishna, I know that you're ordering my steps. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. Lord, I want to thank you that my set times are coming. I can promise you, Krishna's not going to be 1 second late. He's not going to accidentally miss your set time. It's good to be passionate about your dreams and to pursue them. It's good to envision healing, freedom, breakthroughs, promotion. But don't be so consumed by the goal that you're not going to be happy on the journey. That you're not going to be happy while you're waiting for it to come to pass. Don't put your happiness on hold until everything lines up just like you envision it. Today, this moment, being here is a gift. Enjoy your life while God is working. Enter into rest, not uptight, not stressed out. Oh, when is it going to change? No, you have to pass the test of being happy where you are before Krishna can get you to where you need to be. You have to put your foot down and say, no, I'm going to enjoy this day. The pandemic is not going to stop me. These challenges, this bad break, Krishna, I know you're on the throne. I trust your timing. I trust your ways. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Our main scripture is the Bhagavad Gita, the Song of God. It takes place just on the eve of a great battle. Arjuna is the friend and devotee of Krishna. The Supreme Lord has descended onto the earth as the chariot driver of his friend Arjuna. And a conversation takes place on the battlefield which resonates down through the millennium right here to us at this point in time in Spanish Fork, Utah. The long-awaited time for war had arrived. A terrible fratricidal war in which brothers and cousins were going to be pitted before each other. Seeing the horror of it all before him, Arjuna looked across the battlefield at his relatives, his friends, and his teachers arrayed against him, men who were like fathers, brothers, sons, and grandsons. Arjuna was overwhelmed with compassion. How could he possibly kill his own kinsmen and friends? He felt weak. This powerful warrior addressed Krishna in a trembling voice. My dear Lord, see my friends and relatives before me in a fighting spirit. I feel my limbs quivering, my mouth drying up. Sweat covered Arjuna's brow. His breath came in heavy sighs. The sight of old and respected personalities like Bhisma, Drona, Salya, Balaka all of whom he loved dearly, filled him with grief. The many young princes, sons of the Kauravas and their allies, were like his own sons. He felt compassion for them too. Even his enemies, the Kauravas, Dhritarashtra's sons, were pitiable because they were so foolish.